welcome. Oh man, I am so tired today. I'll start with it again. Welcome to my weekly roundup for USA this week. As always, coming here to tell you all of the good things, the bad things, hints and tips, and then what I'm going to be up to and what the business is going to be up to over the next couple of weeks. Guess where I need to start is kind of what went well this week. So those guys who've been following me over the last couple of weeks, you'll know that we had an offer accepted last week for a commercial conversion. Happy days, it was good. Things have kind of slowed down a wee bit since then, and obviously we're just putting together a proof of funds structured document, which is quite important. I'll talk about the proof of funds structured document a bit later. But really it's kind of just getting things in motion and getting things ready for moving the purchase into legals. And obviously one of those big steps is raising finance. I want to spend a little bit more time talking about raising finance in this little session. And basically I'm looking to raise both private and development. So I've been spending a lot of time on working out, speaking to brokers, what works well, what do they need, specifically what documents, what are they looking for. For those who don't know, typically what you create is called an investor memorandum, and the investor memorandum can go out to people who you'd like from private equity or debt to raise debt with, and you can also create an investment memorandum for your development finance or potentially bridging. And you can, in theory, if you get the right broker and you find the right deal, you can get 100% of development costs funded and even up to 65% of your purchase price, which is huge. I mean, it means really you're going to need 35% of your money, someone else's money, private investors' money, to be able to do a deal. Now, obviously, there's clauses attached to that, but those are the two kind of investor memorandums you got to create. Now, I have raised finance in the past, but nothing ever on this scale. So it's kind of been a learning curve for me to try and work out what I needed to do. And I've basically from scratch built this investor memorandum, so it took a lot of time. And then I'll speak to you guys in the hints and tips section about how to create a good investor memorandum of what brokers are looking for to give you an agreement in principle very quickly. And if you're in that kind of frame of mind, or you're in that space where you need to know if you're going to get a letter of intent or funds to kind of progress, then stay tuned, I'll keep you up to date. So yeah, very slow this week, but taking the big steps forward. I guess what also went well was I had a number of bumps along the way with the vendor, just on a few bits and pieces, and sometimes you get down and it's hard to speak to. I sometimes find it's hard to speak to friends and family about your deals and what you do in the property world, and it can be a bit lonely. So I was able to speak to my mentors. I have a number of mentors for different areas. I've got a mentor for commercial deal structuring and general advice for the property side of things. I've also got Bishopsgate Development, so I've got Lee, Pete and Andy, really sound guys, really good. They've got wide experience in deal finance and structuring, to how to build businesses, to modular build, to the development side. And I'm able to bounce off my frustrations and ideas with them, and they help bring things into perspective. Give me some really good ideas about how to approach getting proof of funds, for instance. Like I said before, every vendor has their own kind of acceptable proof of funds document, and my initial proof of funds wasn't what was wanted, and so I kind of got a little bit frustrated. It was our fault that we didn't provide the right documentation. So I had to go back and come back with another proposal, and the guys from Bishopsgate Development helped me along with that. For instance, going to your accountant or going to an investor's accountant and asking them to, you don't always necessarily need a bank statement. If their accountant or solicitor, someone in high standing, is able to vouch on their behalf, saying yes, this person has got liquid assets to this amount of value, which are able to be deployed on this particular project, then that is a good level of proof of funds. So it's something to maybe you guys need to think about. Let me know if you want to know a little bit more about the proof of funds. I'm happy to share that with you. So a good general conversation with the mentors. Like I said before, I always advocate, if you're in the property side, or even if you're starting out, or even if you're still in the many years, have the right mentors around you, and that kind of changes over time. Like I said, I've got different mentors for different tasks. I've also got a business mentor. You know, he helps me look at the bigger picture and structure and how to build the business for a longer term. So you really try and have a look at that yourself. But also, oh yeah, some really good things. One of the meetings I've got in the next couple of weeks is with local council, and we're talking about helping support them with their town regeneration. This is in the northeast. I can't obviously tell you which council, but you'll probably be able to work out from my posts. But anyway, I'm speaking to them to see how we could support them. You can support them, and I commissioned a solicitor to do some, you know, some future sketches and feasibility concept of how a particular area in this town could look. And so I started getting through those first BIM of the 3D model sketches coming through, which is super exciting and they look pretty cool. You wouldn't even be able to recognise the existing place on Google Maps. So that's really exciting stuff. Obviously that's in preparation for the big meeting I've got in the next 2 weeks with these guys. So very nice, that was kind of all the good stuff. As always, life is pretty shit as well, so I had pretty rubbish time in a number of areas. One of them was financing deals. So obviously I talked about the proof of funds issues that we were having, and the other one was like, I think I also underestimated how much time you really need to spend structuring and making sure you know the numbers. You know, and the same thing kept coming out when I was speaking to brokers is, you know, if you don't know the numbers yourself inside and out, how can anyone else expect to have a confidence in your project? And you know, it's having the key headline figures, you know, not just having your GDV, but your breakdown of costs. What's your contingency? Why is your contingency like that? What's the cost of the loan or of your development finance? How much of that is interest? How much of that is private equity? How much will you need to you know, to have positive cash flow? Because not always you're going to have, you know, your cash flow over time is going to diminish, and sometimes you're going to have a lot of costs coming in very quickly. You need to make sure that you never have a negative balance. So sometimes you need a little bit extra than what your figures might work out at. So you've got to really spend the time to look at them, understand them, and then proportion them correctly for when you're asking for finance. Like anything, start with the end in mind. I didn't start with the end in mind. I just wanted to get money. Like everybody else, give me the money, give me the money. But it didn't kind of work like that. So a bit of head banging, a couple of hours crunching numbers on spreadsheets as well. So, but I love spreadsheets. I'm pretty much a geek, so that wasn't too bad. But I'll talk a little bit more about finance side of things. And there's an easy way to do it, and I didn't do it the easy way essentially. The other thing was, I got told off. I've not been told off for, wow, a long time. Probably at least about 4 weeks since my mum last told me off. No, about 5 or 6 years. And the vendor of the property, obviously who we're purchasing from, I kind of maybe got a little bit excited and put one of a very, you know, it wasn't obvious, it didn't state names or anything, but I put a picture on the website of the building and saying, you know, coming soon. But anyway, the vendor found out and was not happy and told me off quite quickly, and so told me that I needed to take it down. So I felt a little bit bad, but whoops a daisy. Anyway, hopefully things hasn't made things too bad. But yeah, I did get told off. And on a separate subject, BT. I hate BT. I've not had internet now for 6 weeks. Holy crap, man! Like, how? BT, how? Obviously, you're not going to be watching this, but if you are, please sort out my internet in Bank Street in Aberdeen. Anyway, yes, a lot of frustration there, but never mind. Anyway, good to see you, Seb, and good to see you, Sylvia, Mahal. Thank you for kind of joining. Nice shout out there. But yeah, so a couple of things didn't go well, but like anything, what I always say, I've got like an affirmation, which is, you know, bigger than any problem, you can handle any problem, you grow yourself to succeed and get better essentially. And you know, you've got to kind of live by that and just think of the next problem and just get on with it, and don't get bogged down by it. So hints and tips, I obviously appreciate it's quite a long one, so I want to get through this quite quickly. I'm speaking to a guy called Michael Primrose, who's a broker that I use for development and bridging finance. He works with TPE, really good guys, very helpful. Go check him out. And when I was speaking to him, I said, look, what would you want to be able to get an approval in principle quickly? You know, what would be a good document, or what would it contain? And I'm just going to read these off because I don't have them all in my head. But what he basically said is, like, if you want to get a bridging loan, then the things that you should list or should have are name of the client, address of the property, details and type of the property, is it commercial, semi-commercial, purchase price, the market value, obviously that's different to the purchase price, so you may need to get a RICS Red Book valuation there. The name of the company, the exit strategy, very important. You know, will you flip? Will you sell it with planning? Will you hold? Will you refinance? What's the deposit available? The length of time for a bridge needed. Now, if you're going to move from a bridge to a development finance side, you need obviously a little bit more because obviously the money is a lot greater. But typically you want your build costs, construction costs as well. So your build costs are built up not just of your construction side, you've got to include your contingency, you know, stamp duty, maybe VAT charges as well. The GDV, the loan required, again, length of the project, your CV and experience, or people who might be in your SPV, which is your limited company or whatever company structure you're going to set up. Because obviously remember, just because you might not have experience doesn't mean that you can't pull people on board with your project and take advantage. And that sounds bad, but you know, use them to help guide you through your project. Obviously they will take a cut of some sort, but you can then include them and help bolster your CV as well. The existing state of the deal, if there's planning consent or not, and what the risk is attached to that. Full breakdown of your costing, your cash flows, unit sizes, and a full set of plans from your architect, along with, most importantly, how much skin in the game are you going to put in, what's the equity you're actually going to put in. If you were able to provide all of these things, then you're going to be able to get an AIP very, very quickly. So what I'll do is I'll put all of these things in the bottom of this post, so if you ever want to look at them, you can go in and have a look. But there's some really helpful tips there from Michael and the brokers team into what to use, and moving forward, this is what I will be providing every time, not going through the whole rigmarole I did before. So all that's left is what's coming up. Like I said, I'm putting this proof of fund structure document together, arranging financing principle for this project, speaking to the brokers, kind of sorting that out. Hopefully then progressing the deal into legals, which would be kind of things make things concrete. And next weekend I've got an entrepreneurs summit in London, and this is with one of my mentors, a guy called Roger Hamilton. He's a futurist, a big tech guy. If you've heard of Wealth Dynamics, he created Wealth Dynamics, and he's got a company called Genius U, and they're basically all about how to help entrepreneurial spirit, how to, you know, make sure you're aligned correctly, what's your character assessment as an entrepreneur, and how to use your strengths and weaknesses to better propel you and your team. Like I said, I use him for more of the bigger picture thinking for the business. Very good. He's got, he's running this entrepreneurs event coming up, so looking forward to that. Should be very good. I will definitely give you some more information on this entrepreneurs summit and what we find in there. Always some good takeaways. The last one I took away was the whole 10 times X, 10x everything that you think. Now, it's not quite the same as Grant Cardone, but what he's saying is your goal should be 10 times bigger than what you think. Because essentially, you know, if they're 10 times bigger, you might not make it, but you might make 4 or 5 times what you originally wanted. Isn't it better to make 4 or 5 times than just settle for your 1 times? So yeah, you know, have a look at that. You know, whenever you're looking at your goals, this is the last bit of a couple of tips here, but have a look at your goals. Try and push it 10 times for what you can do. I did that with my property company. You know, I went from wanting to produce 80 units in 3 years to 800 units. So it's a good problem to have, because then you've got, you know, it's more about how you're going to execute it. But already with the deals in the pipeline, I've already hit 80 unit target. So, you know, if I'd only rested for 80 in 3 years, you know, that I probably would have only got that. Now there's definitely more of a chance of hitting the 800. Whether I hit it, I don't know, but let's see. It's a journey. So after that, and that's it really. So thank you very much. A final shout out to the guys over a guy called Matt Barker and Paul Ambler. They're really good property guys. They're on the start of their journey as well. They've just completed a couple of deals this week, so I know they're really happy and buzzing over that. So congratulations, guys. hope to meet you for a couple of beers soon. And thank you very much for everyone who's watching. Cheers, Sean and Katie. Hope you enjoy the rest of your weekend. I'm away to get a fruit juice. Okay, catch you later on, guys.